All right, example 5. If a certain trip takes 2 hours at 50 miles per hour, how long will it take at 60 miles per hour? So, what would I need to know to find out how long it'll take me to go, however far I'm going to go at 60 miles an hour? What's the relationship between rate, time, and distance? Anybody know? If I'm driving at 60 miles an hour and I drive for 1 hour, how far did I go? 60 miles. I drove for an hour, but I went how far? 60 miles, right? If I'm driving at 30 miles an hour for 5 hours, how far will I go?
150.
150, right? 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30, or 30 times 5, whatever you want to go, right? In general, how fast I'm going, the rate, multiplied by how long I'm going that rate, time, is always equal to how far I'm going distance. Rate times time equals distance. That's the relationship between rate, time, and distance always. Okay. Once you establish that's the relationship between these, if I can pinpoint what these things represent up here in my problem, I can figure out some things. So first of all, notice what they're asking me. How long will it take at 60 miles per hour? Are they asking me for a rate, a time, or a distance? How long will it take? Time, right? How long is time? How far is distance? How fast is rate? How fast would be a question of asking what the speed is, how long, how much time, how far, what's the distance. So when they're telling me that, they're saying what's the time? So time equals, I don't know. Which means I must know what the rate and distance are, right? So the rate must equal something, the distance must equal something. If I'm going to answer their question, I need to know those two things. Now, in the question says, how long will it take at 60 miles per hour? What's 60 miles per hour represent? Rate. So 60 miles per hour. Okay, so the only other thing we need to know is the distance. Does it tell us what the distance of the trip is? No. But if we read what they gave us for information, it says right up in here, highlighted in green for your viewing pleasure, a certain trip takes 2 hours at 50 miles per hour. So that's 2 hours, which is a time, and 50 miles per hour, which is a rate. And if I know those two things, I can use this relationship to find the distance. So 50 miles per hour times 2 hours equals distance. 50 times 2 is 100 miles. So again, they didn't tell me what the distance was, but they gave me enough information to figure it out. Okay, and that's quite often how they're going to do these problems. So the distance is 100 miles. The rate is 60 miles per hour, and the question is, how long will it take? Well, now, I know of these three numbers, I know the rate and I know the distance, I don't know the time. So the rate of 60 times the time equals the distance 100. So to get time, I simply have to divide both sides by 60. And 100 divided by 60, I'm going to be using a calculator here. I'm getting a decimal answer is fine for time. Decimal time makes sense, right? So I'd go 100 divided by 60 is equal to 1.66666666 and so on. So 1.67 hours. But if we want to be really fancy, that's 1 hour and 40 minutes. But again, 1.67 hours would be sufficient enough.